All right, yo, we're live and direct. The Heat Tank, the show with no intro because we get straight into it. We're live and direct here with Danny Trevino, an Austin native. This guy has done radio. He's in acting. You might catch him in LA. You might catch him in New York. You might catch him in Austin. You might catch him on a billboard. He's all over doing movies, commercials, all kinds of gigs. I mean, very interesting character. And the reason I brought him on the show is to add to the diversity of this show. When you're dealing with acting, you are a personal brand, okay? Me and Danny today, we're going to talk about branding and marketing yourself as an actor in possibly a very oversaturated market. But how is Danny continuing to get booked for billboards, commercials, movies? I gotta know what this guy has up his sleeve. So I want to introduce to y'all, and I'm gonna let him give his formal introduction of Danny Trevino.
Hey guys, how's it going? First of all, thank you for having me on the show. It's always good to see you. You know, so
thank you.
Yeah, man. I've been in the Austin area a long time, and started as a radio personality here in Austin, Texas.
Talk to us about that. I'm interested.
Yeah, so back in the day here, there used to be a hip hop station called Hot 93.3.
Yep.
And my radio name was D Train. And, we had a very successful run there. It was so much fun. I won the Austin Chronicle Best DJ 3 years in a row. One time as Best Evening DJ, one time as Best, I guess, Weekend DJ, whatever. But it was still, hey, I still won, though.
You won an award, bro.
That's right, three times. So, and that was, the fans voted on that one.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. That meant a lot to me.
Cool.
So we had a good little 6-year run on that station. Unfortunately, as you see in radio a lot of times, stations flip formats.
Yep.
And so that happened to us at Hot 93.3. And so the station was just gone.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick since we're talking about it. Because I want to clear up a rumor that I heard.
Okay.
Was it where y'all basically got called into the office on a Friday and they let y'all go?
Yeah.
And Monday it flipped?
No, it was actually I think it was a week before Thanksgiving one year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, right during the holidays.
Yeah.
And everybody's in a good mood. Our ratings were great.
Yeah.
And then, I had the morning show at the time. And then they're like, hey, we all need to come to a meeting. And I already did my show that day. So we're like, oh, a whole meeting for everybody? So we all went in there and, they're like, after today, y'all no longer have shows. And after Friday, there's no more Hot 93.3.
Ooh,
and then they're like,
God.
yeah. So they're like, you can go downstairs and pick up your severance checks. And then we just never knew what happened. So, you've got to, adjust and adapt. And it was kind of a blessing in disguise for me. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I told myself and asked myself, what did I want to do next? What did I love to do?
Yeah.
And it got me back into acting. So it was.
I didn't know that you were acting before the radio, or was it kind of during the radio?
Well, I had to stop during the radio because of the fact that because I was so busy with the radio station that I didn't have time to go to auditions. I didn't have time to do other things, and so whenever I got back into acting, that afforded me the opportunity to go out to auditions again. Whenever the radio station went away, so it was a blessing in disguise. Yeah, I started acting, when I was a kid. When I had theater classes and I would go to UIL competitions and then I stopped in high school to play sports, and then I got back into it in college. I was a mass comm major. I was a theater minor.
I never knew this. I thought you're like, well, radio, whatever, I'm going acting, and I honestly thought that was your story.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the few people who actually use their degree. I was like, well, okay, I use my major and my minor, and so now my minor is my major. If you know what I'm saying. So basically, So I got back into acting, and one of the first movies I did, I was an extra in the movie Varsity Blues, and that was before I was even on the radio. But it still sparked my interest. And then I was an extra in the movie The Alamo.
You got your first touch.
Yeah, and I was like, I got to do this. Yeah, but then I had to stop because radio came around. Then whenever it did go away, I got back into it. A film called Generation Me, which is out on Amazon.
Drew Faye.
Drew Faye, DJ Hella
Yella.
Ray Senior. A lot of people from Austin are in that movie, and it's still funny today. I just watched it again for the first time in a long time the other day. It was really cool, and it was and that just kind of got me back into it. And then I started going to auditions, started hitting the streets, and just keep everything. Being just starting as an extra extra. Just learn any time I could be on set, I wanted to do it. Then I got bigger and bigger roles, and then I got an agent.
Yeah.
And now I'm just still hustling, still going to auditions. I just came from an audition today.
Yeah.
I was literally walked right in from an audition like right before this interview. So yeah.
This man is real deal. He's not just talking about movies and commercials. He's actually out there grinding, and that's one of the things that obviously following your content for a while now. One thing I realize is you always post that you're working.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, I deal obviously with business owners every week, and they might go for 2 weeks without posting something on Instagram or Facebook for their business. Okay. And what I tell them is like, your business, or put it like this, your Facebook and your Instagram is your online resume for whatever you got going on.
Absolutely.
And that's something I see where you were at a commercial, or you got a screening coming out, or they just released this or whatever. Because obviously, as you know, people will look you up and they want you to see like, this is an active actor.
Yep.
He's not just sitting around every month posting or whatever. So first bit of advice, what do you give for people on that topic as far as like your online resume, or how does it work for actors? Is it to tell us more about that? Like, what is y'all's resume? Is it just on a website, or is it what's your?
Well, there's a couple of different things. We do have resumes, but our resumes look different than like let's say a business resume, right? So you'll have like your TV and film, and then you have your web, your all your other stuff, your training and all this other stuff. Completely different than a other resume.
Like it gets sent out. Whatever.
Yeah. So what you do is you go to an audition, and it has your headshot, which is your picture, and then on the back of it has your resume. And now a lot of times we have IMDb pages, so a lot of mine are on there. But as far as advice for marketing for actors, it's called show business.
Yeah.
So you got to put on a show. I got to show you what I'm doing. Because you know what? If I don't do it, if I don't market myself, then who else is going to do it for me?
Yeah.
And people have especially in this day and age, people have really short attention spans.
Oh yeah.
So if like the old saying, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
so if you don't post about yourself on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be, people are going to forget about you.
Yeah.
And let's just say people are looking up things about you, and they're like, oh yeah, Danny, he did something like that. There's been multiple times where people who I barely even know that I've met, like maybe at mixers or something like that.
One time maybe.
Yeah, they'll look me up because they're like, oh, we saw you doing this, and we know that you can do this, you can act, and I've seen your reels, I've seen other things that you've done, and we'd like to offer you a job. And so
something that you might not have even auditioned for.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Like just last week, I got a role in a web series, and another actor backed out, and it was Memorial Day Monday, and it was like 9:45 at night. And I ain't gonna lie, I had a couple of drinks already in me. And
you say yes to anything.
Yeah. No, but they called me up and like, hey, an actor backed out, and we've all worked together before, and would you like to be on this? We think could you save us? And come in and do this role. And I did. I was there next morning. They sent me the script that night. I memorized it in the morning, and
cool.
And then we went at it. And that's just because of people remembering me. On from other things. Yeah.
So this brings up a very valid point. So in my marketing workshops, this is exactly what I teach. And Danny, you might already know this, but not know it the way I'm saying it, okay? Your main goal in branding is to become the first or the only one that somebody thinks of when they need that product or that service. These people, like you're telling me right now, they were in a bind, okay? Who did they call on? Oh, Danny. Call Danny. Let's get hold of Danny.
Yeah.
So you have branded yourself into whether it's a production company itself or maybe one of the PAs on deck or whoever it is, it doesn't matter. They came to you because they thought of you, okay? One of the goals, probably the main goal of marketing, okay, is to magnetize yourself to where people come to you. Now, don't get me wrong. As an actor, I personally feel like you still have to do auditions.
Of course.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, recently was talking about he's still auditioning like he was starting all over again. And this dude is like OG. Super
for real.
OG, But what I'm saying is, by magnetizing yourself, regardless of what you're doing, movies, movies, billboards, commercials, whatever it is, you have people that are coming to you. Now you just need to scale that where they're constantly coming to you, because obviously when your influence goes up, so does your value.
Absolutely.
And money follows attention. So I'm so happy that you brought that up, because that right there is like literally the two goals of marketing and branding right there. Your ultimate goals, I'm sorry. And to hear you say that is really like I'm jumping for joy in my head. I'm like, that's exactly what he's living proof that this is really the methods that work. But to tell us a little bit more about, so let's say, for example, if I'm a brand new actor, right now, or let me rephrase that. If I want to start acting.
Sure.
Okay. Let's say I just moved here from Iowa.
Okay.
Nobody knows me.
Right.
And let's just say I'm really freaking good, but the world doesn't know that. But I know that, and my mom tells me, and my tia and my uncle, everyone tells me, you're such a good actor. Before we start really getting into more stuff, how would a brand new person, in your opinion, really start taking it to the next level?
Well, I would say, get to know people in your industry. Surround yourself with people that are in the same industry. Go to mixers. Join Facebook groups that are acting groups. Join. Go out there and meet people. But one of the best things that that everyone has to help you in any kind of marketing is this cell phone.
Yes.
You have a record button right here. Yeah. You can make your own content. There's iMovie. You can make your own trailers. You can make your own movies. Yep. You don't really need anybody else. You can create your own content. You can upload that to YouTube right now.
You're not at the mercy of anybody.
No, and that's one of the great things right now is that you don't have. You can make your own movies on your phone now, and they are, it's a great quality. You can add soundtracks, you can add all kinds of things. So if you're creative enough, you can put your own stuff out there, and you can almost like fake it till you make it and be like, hey,
put yourself on.
You're here. Look, here's my movie. Put it in a film festival, all shot from iPhone, something like that. There's different ways you can do it, and we're lucky enough that technology has been helping us out. So anybody out there, whatever kind of business you're in, you have the ability with your phone to create content, to create create content for eyeballs, for ears, for people to get your own attention.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's another thing that I'm really glad that you mentioned that. So for those of y'all watching, obviously because this show is about marketing, branding, and strategies, Danny said, just organically saying it right now, there's a 4-step process for sales, okay? Whether you're trying to sell yourself as an actor or you're trying to sell tacos out of a truck, it doesn't matter. There's a 4-step process. Getting someone's attention is the number one step. You have to get someone's attention. Now, it doesn't matter whether you see Danny over here, whether you see him in a movie, whether you see him on a billboard, whether you see him wherever. You got to get someone's attention. The second one is you have to get their interest. They got to say, who is this dude? Who is this Hispanic guy that's like killing it on this scene? Like, who is this guy? Then the third one is you got to get the desire. You have to get their desire to where they desire to look you up. Mm-hmm. Who is this guy? Let's look on the credits or let's Google who was Jake in this movie or whatever. And they go and they look you up, and then it converts to an action. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what it is, whether it's a regular person like me that is watching a movie and thinks that the chick is really hot or the dude was really good, or whether I'm a casting agent and someone told me about this guy named Danny Trevino. I was like, okay, cool, who is it? Well, if I got the attention of his name, I'm, interested now because we're in a bind or whatever. The third one, now I desire to find out who is this dude everybody keeps talking about, and then converts to an action to where I call you or I email you, and then we go from there. So I'm glad you said that because as y'all can tell, in every industry, it's the same process. It's realistically the same process, just different, just different people involved or different structures for the same exact thing. But yeah, tell me some more. Hate to cut you off, but I want to hear a little bit more. Yeah.
No, yeah. Another thing is don't burn bridges, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so whenever I'm on a set, I always, and I've started as, I started as an extra, which is the lowest on the totem pole, right?
Yeah.
And then, I've done stand-in work, I've done body double work, and, now I'm going for, bigger and bigger roles now. Yeah. And, I've been the lead actor. Yeah. I've been the lead actor in a few films, and so, which is, I'm pretty excited about. And, but the thing is, don't burn bridges, when you're on set, treat everybody with respect, or any job. You never know. The person that is sitting next to you who's an extra, that could be your next director one day.
Yep.
That could be and it's happened before where you meet somebody and you're like, oh my God, this person's so amazingly talented, but nobody would give them the time of day, and then you see them later on, a couple years later, and you're like, I see these guys.
I know who.
Yes.
And so what's funny that you say that is how everyone is connected. Years ago, there was a show, I think it was actually the first episode that they were taping, called One Man Army. And One Man Army, I believe, was Discovery Channel. We were in Santa Clarita, California, in the hills. It was like a 16 or 20 hour production, whatever. But what really caught my attention was that the production folks that were obviously on set, when you heard them talking, when it was, I don't know what the term is, but when it was lunchtime or whatever, the big old fancy truck comes. I'm like, I'm eating Chateaubriand with Parmesan sauce. I mean, I was eating better there than at restaurants, okay? But anyways, what I realized, relative to what you're saying, is that everybody knew each other because this, and of course in Austin it might be the same thing, but in LA, if you're shooting for whatever season, you might only be working for 2 or 3 months. You work for 2 or 3 months, and then you're basically jobless until you find another job. And one guy was like, oh, yeah, I worked with you on the Oprah show, and oh, yeah, I worked with you on this movie. And it was just very interesting to watch. Basically exactly how you're saying is you never know who's going to pop up next to you, whether it's an extra became a director, or whether you're the second cameraman, happen to work with a third cameraman a year prior on another set. It's just really interesting to hear it live. You saying that, I'm like, yeah, I saw this literally firsthand.
Yeah, and whenever you do step on a set, especially in Austin, Texas, we have a smaller acting community and a smaller crew altogether, and it's a family, a family affair. You feel like, oh man, even in auditions, you see the same guys, and so you become friends with all these people, and finally sometimes you're like, oh, you got that, oh, I'm gonna get the next one though,
you took it from me.
But it's a lot. Most people in Austin, at least, they're not the type of people who are oh, forget that guy, he beat me out, that's not cool, whatever. Most people are happy for you that you got the role. So it's a fun, it's a hard environment. Now don't get me wrong,
competition wise, or
hard competition wise, it's hard living wise, because you never know when your next job is,
that's true,
so it's a lot of hustle, a lot of determination, and that's why you can't take a break in marketing. That's why you have to go. And even if, what, man, even if sometimes things are slow or something, I'll repost something that I already had, or I've done a while back, because I have new followers all the time. So then I'll post something again, and people who,
it might be new to them.
It's new to them. And so, and then it still reminds other people what you've done as well. So if it is slow for me, I don't make it seem like it's slow online, because I want people to just constantly think I'm busy. And I try to keep myself busy.
Yeah. And there was another show that I taped with some cats, and I told them, I said, look, your Facebook and your Instagram nowadays is basically your online resume. If you're a rapper, they're going to look you up. If you are, let's say, a business and you're, I don't know, it could be Torchy's Tacos.
Sure.
If Torchy's Tacos hasn't posted on Instagram but maybe once a month, people are like, oh, well, we don't know what the special is, because they don't necessarily always go to the website. And nowadays, excuse me, you have the power of speed, where if you have a burger restaurant or if you have a dry cleaning business and you have loyal followers and you say, hey, today I'm running a 99-cent burger special or for the next 48 hours, if you're not active on Instagram, no one's going to really keep following your Instagram. But by you saying, hey, I constantly post stuff up, whether it's every day, twice a day, 4 times a day, it shows people that you're active and you're engaging with them as well.
Yeah, and I think engagement is a very important word, because on Facebook, Instagram, these other things, you could post something, right? And then if someone comments and you don't comment back to them, then
you look like a prick.
You look like a prick, first of all, and then also it's like, it shows other people and it gets them more invested in you. Like, oh, well, they did take the time to write me back.
They actually care.
And if you have enough time to do it, sometimes people are too busy to do that. But if you have a moment, write them back. whatever, even if it's just an emoji or something, it just makes it feel like, okay, and then that shows other people. It also shows you have more comments, shows people have more likes, and it makes the Facebook algorithm have more eyes show it, the more comments you have, things like that. So,
because sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes like with Facebook, their friends see that they commented on your page, and they're like, who do they keep talking to? Yep. And then on Instagram, if you go to the activity, you can see the people you're following. You can see who they're commenting on, or whose pictures they're liking.
Yeah.
But before I forget, because this is always something that I've had in mind. Obviously, I'm not an actor, so well, sometimes I act. It depends on the day.
You act a fool.
I act a fool, man. The Fooly Wayne. So this is just a tactic, and this, of course, is from years ago. I thought of. Imagine this, and tell me what you think about this.
Sure.
Tell me what you think about this. Obviously, like Danny was saying, is you now have the power to shoot your own promos, shoot your own clips, even if it's just a scene. If you can do like a 1 minute comedy scene, get your homie to hold the camera, or bring in another guy or girl, whatever, it doesn't matter. But to shoot like 1 or 2 minute scenes, obviously low budget if you don't got much of a production, dollars, we'll call it. But to shoot these, put them on YouTube, okay, obviously, so you got them there on YouTube, but also like Instagram and Facebook now, to be able to get that clip. And now that we can target, okay, imagine running ads, 1 minute clips around the production studios in LA or New York by the zip code, because obviously you know exactly where they're located at. You know where Hollywood Production Center, I think they got 4 or 5 different campuses. That's a good one. You can literally pick maybe a 1 mile vicinity of that. Or with Facebook, which, by the way, if you're running an ad on Instagram, I highly recommend you run it through Facebook, through the Facebook Ads Center, because you can hit boost post, which is good, but through Ad Center, you get way more flexibility and options, basically. So for those that don't know, don't just hit boost post. Go to the actual Ad Center. Anyways, to run an ad, but now you can also pick like employees of Universal Studios.
Yep.
Or something like that. So imagine, even if you spend $50 on one of your clips for a drama or a comedy, whatever, just running ads, targeting people that work for Universal or for Sony Pictures or whatever it is. I mean, that's just me thinking outside the box, but it was always something I was like, oh, you can run ads and target the zip code where they work in, and all the big wigs see that. And but I don't know, do you think that might work, or I don't know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea. If you want,
Daddy's like, I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, writing down notes right now. But I think it's a great idea. Anything to get people's attention. You have that power and that ability.
Yeah. And nowadays it's so much more easier.
Yeah, it's just people got to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of times, people start things and then they don't finish them.
Yeah.
You have to go out there and, have a beginning, middle, and an end.
Everybody has a project going.
Yeah. So, you got to go out there and, you really got to hustle and, market yourself in any business. I was just at a crawfish boil this weekend.
Yeah.
And for real estate agents, and loan officers. And they were out there. They were doing that for a charity, but they were also out there. They were hustling.
Oh,
they were, they're talking to other people. Oh yeah, if you ever need
they
this,
ain't playing.
You need to buy. Here's some crawfish. But if you need to buy something, it's all about your branding. And through Facebook, they were doing a lot of this too.
Yeah.
And pictures you take, hashtags are important these days. All of that, getting your message, your brand out there is very important, and you have the tools to do that right from your phone.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: how far do you think? Because I went to a talk. It was I think it was called Rise Global. I think was the organization. This was years ago. Robert Rodriguez came and he talked. This is at least 5 years ago, and it's funny. He was talking about Spy Kids.
Spy Kids.
Yeah, Spy Kids. Well, I didn't know. He goes, yeah, we shot it in my backyard. He lives on Lake Travis, and he shot the movie like you thought it was the ocean, but it was like his backyard being in the lake.
Yep.
They had to get permits, whatever. But anyways, somebody had asked him about the L.A. and Austin similarities or whatever, and it was funny because he was saying when he was telling the people in L.A. how much he could shoot a movie for in Austin, they're like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, that's not true. He's like, no, really, like, because the thing is here, if I'm not mistaken, there's so many people that the quality is so high, the production quality is so high, the acting quality is high, by what I've been told, but there's just not enough gigs like in LA. Because I was told that the LA people will come to Austin, do something, then bounce back out.
That's what happens all the time.
To LA.
Yeah, and also right now, film incentives. So
for locally, or
we have they just added $50 million tax incentives for production companies here. It just passed.
But were they locally owned, or if they come in and do a
they
production?
come in and shoot, but they have to hire locals.
Oh, okay, I see.
And they'll get a percentage back of their investment to them and their production. So that's money already well spent because they're going to get some money back. But it also helps our economy because that's giving jobs to actors, to caterers, to crew members, to locations, to the local businesses that they go out to eat at every night. So it helps our economy, and it makes it smarter for them to shoot here. And we have a lot of great actors here, a lot of great crew people out here, and
the talent is so high.
The talent is awesome, and people love Austin. Like Austin's a fun city. So they come here and film, and sometimes they want to stay and move here. Which everybody else does too. But you
know what's funny? You're talking about how cool Austin is. Yeah. So when Lana Del Rey came to Austin to perform, I think I don't even remember when the last show was, but I went to her last show in Austin. I didn't know this, okay? But she was hanging out in Austin for a whole week because she had a show in Dallas, but her hotel was in Austin. She stayed in Austin the whole week, and she was talking at the Frank Irwin Center, and she said, yeah, Austin is such a cool city. She was literally just going in and out of bars, listening to live bands perform, or whether it's a one, solo show, whatever, just walking in and out. And she said it was the coolest thing because not every city you have that to where you can be listening to I think it was like hip hop and then blues and then rock, like one door after another is something totally different.
Yeah.
Other cities might have certain versions.
Right.
But for something like 6th Street, we're very unique where we have it exactly how it is. But talking about the Austin film community, let me ask you a question. What are because I know you're deep in the game, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the pros and the cons of the Austin film community. What are things that you think they're doing great, things that might be able to be improved upon, or?
Yeah, I think, the cons is that we don't have as much work right now.
Okay.
There's not a lot of television shows being shot here and not as many movies being shot here. But with these tax incentives, they're going to help out a lot. And those hopefully will rise even more because a few years ago they were a lot higher. Last year they were a lot lower. They're $18 million lower the last 2 years.
Oh, so it's per year that they do it?
Every other year, I believe. So hopefully that number will keep going up. And so the con is that we don't have enough work here in Austin, but I have a feeling, a good feeling.
Too many Indians, not enough teepees.
Yeah, so I have a feeling though that it's gonna be really get a lot better here pretty soon. Okay. So I'm excited about that. So that's one of the cons is just not enough work in the city. But it's getting better. I luckily stay busy. There's tons of commercials shot here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude. I keep up with your page.
Yeah.
But by the way, I'll put it on the screen. But drop your Instagram and Facebook and.
Yeah, it's my old radio name D Train. So it's really easy to find me. D_train_. Just search Danny Trevino actor on Google. It's really easy.
He said, "Google me."
Yeah, Google me. You can find me on IMDb. Just type in Danny Trevino. You can see all my films that I've done on there. It's really easy to find me. If you just Google Danny Trevino actor, you'll find me. And I'm not Danny Trevino, that one weed guy. There's like a big weed guy out there.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, that ain't me though. But yeah, it's really easy to find me online and social media. You might not be able to add me on Facebook because I think I've reached that 5,000 friends.
Fancy.
Yeah, so
he's blowing up, y'all.
No, but Instagram, it's really easy to find me.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this though, because I'm kind of curious. So obviously you're in the game. You're deep in the mix, in the circles, the acting circles in Austin. Because my thing, it's all in your mentality. I mean, I deal with business people that aren't really, they act like they're serious about business, but they're really not. Mm-hmm. So coming from an actor's perspective, what are some of the, what's the best way to say it? Some of the characteristics of the ones that are winning and the ones that are losing. Because I'm not going to say being an actor is easy, because it's really not.
No, it's the hardest.
It's extremely hard, but getting into acting anybody can get into acting.
Sure.
But what are the characteristics of the winners that you see locally and the losers that say, that blame everybody else why they didn't get picked up and blah blah blah.
And it's the mentality.
Yeah.
You've got to stay positive with your outlook. Think about this. I get I don't get I don't book every audition I go to.
Yeah. What percentage? Well, let me ask you, what percentage do you honestly think?
I mean, it's a very low percentage. I mean, I go to so many auditions, but once you leave that audition room, like for example, I just left this audition right now.
Yeah.
You got to leave that on the table because it's out of your hands.
Yeah.
So you just leave that on the table. You do the best you could, and then move on to the next one. And you got to have a positive mindset. That you feel like I go in there and I go in that room, and every audition I go to, I feel I'm going to get this job.
Yeah.
And that's how I go in there. I'm just like I know I'm going to get this.
Like you deserve to be there.
And I know I'm going to do my best at it. And if I don't get it, that's not on me. That's on them usually because that maybe they're looking for something else. But I can't dwell on it. Yeah. So and you got to keep going. You can't give up. You have to just keep hustling, keep grinding. And if you don't get a job, create your own things.
Yeah. Create your own hype.
Yeah,
I've been doing it. I've been doing it for years. If you haven't noticed.
And so, and then as far as like the losing mentality, I would say it's just the negative energy that people put out. If they, like you said, if they are complaining all the time, or if they're putting other people down, if they're bringing other people down, that energy. Energy is like important. So if you have a positive attitude, you have a hustler's mentality. Is it always going to work? No, but you're going to keep going and you're going to keep fighting for it and keep fighting for those roles and keep fighting for those things. And you're going to get something. And if you surround yourself with the right people too, other actors who want to do the same thing as you, and you make your web bigger, with other actors.
Your circle.
And your
or web, whatever,
all your friends, that you enjoy working with and they enjoy the same things as you, then, you're going to end up working with them more and creating more with them and things like that. So and then the negative people, you just got to push them away, man. And I don't want to be around those people as far as if you're going to be bringing a production down or if you're going to be doing things like that, I'm gone. Ghost.
So let me ask you, do you have, because obviously in every industry, let's say whether it's a hamburger restaurant you own or whether you're a producer, regardless of what it is, there's always a top 3 in your ecosystem / city. So you don't got to say any names right now, but I want you to think of the top 3 actors, male or female. Well, let me ask you, by the way, so is a female actress an actress or an actor?
Both.
Yeah, I was kind of curious on that because so they can be referred to as
an actor or an actress. Yeah.
Okay, just whatever they're comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now here's a question. Those top 3, think about them, okay? Male or female, doesn't matter. And you can't say yourself, Danny.
me.
Dylon, and Dylon. Dylon.
Me, myself, and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are 3 specific things? Okay, now keep in mind, without saying their name, what are 3 specific strategies that you have seen or kind of observed, we'll call it, that they're doing that either sets them apart or constantly keeps them in the loop of what's going on and such,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, studying, your craft, work ethic. Is very important. And then I think it's just determination, like you can't stop. If you really, I mean, in this industry, it's
can't fall off.
No, I mean, like it's hard enough to, to go on all those auditions all the time and you get rejected all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so this way, you just got to keep going with it. If you and I think that's what they do too.
Yeah.
They're
like they're willing to die for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm willing to die for it, but
it's funny.
Like,
I tell that to people all the time. I'm like, I'm willing to die for this. People think I'm crazy, but I'm like, it's like those parkour guys that climb the mountains or whatever, climb the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
They're really willing to die at any moment for what they love to do.
Yeah, I mean, as far as me, I'll die on screen, but I'm coming back to life when they say cut.
Like, I got a kid coming.
Yeah, that's right, man. So, but it's just that determination and the focus, because you can lose focus real easy. You can get focused on fame. Yeah. Fame can bring you down. I've seen a lot of happen to a lot of people. Depression especially, man, too. Like, let's say you don't work for a long time, it gets to people. And artists, like actors are,
you might have been at the top of the game for 5 months, and then
exactly. So you just got to have that strong mentality, and then try to have strong people around you, who support you. And if not, I mean, you got to just support yourself. Just have a clear mind, and meditate if you have to. Things like that. You have to, it's all in your mind. A lot of this, as far as how to stay positive in the acting world.
Yeah, the energy you bring, and there's. Just FYI, I started listening to this guy. I think his name is Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's like a cell biologist. He was a professor for years. Now I think he's doing his own thing. And he was talking, and I might go off on a wild tangent here, but this is relative to what you're saying. He was talking about how people don't realize that the atoms, like obviously we're particles, we're mass, we're particles. But when you break down an atom, it's electrons, protons, I think a neutron. It's energy. You break down a cell, okay, and a cell is negative and positive as well. So people don't realize we're actually energy. When we meet somebody, whether it's one time that we met them or we kick it with them every day, we entangle ourselves with those people and their energies that they bring. That's why obviously you can go into a room with someone and you're like, oh man, they might not even say nothing.
Yeah.
But he says language killed feelings. And it's really, I thought about that. I was like, language killed feelings. That's really interesting because as we're younger, we're being told, hear them out, see what they got to say, let them talk. But your intuition is like, that's a bad dude. Or that's not a girl I should be hanging out with.
Yeah.
But we communicate with language, and then we realize they sell us on some BS maybe. We get entangled with them, and we fall into a trap and are in a horrible relationship for 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is. But by what Danny was saying was the circle, the people that you surround yourself with, it was just relative to what I was listening to with this I think it's Dr. Lipton. Just very interesting. And just by the way, he said there's a machine now. I think the brain scans before, they used to put patches, or what do they call it? The sensors.
The sensors, yeah.
Yeah, they put sensors on your head, and they can tell you what your brain is thinking or processing in the movement and whatever, right? Now they got one, I think it was called MEG or something, he said. It doesn't even touch your brain. It doesn't even touch your body. They put it above you.
Wow.
Yes. So he goes, that goes to prove that if you can literally put something above someone's head and it can tell you how that person is feeling, it goes to show you that there's energy that they give off that can totally change the vibe of a room or the vibe of a crew.
Yep.
If you got that negative Nancy on board.
Yeah, the Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer. I mean, think about it. Imagine you've been on set. Somebody walks into the room or onto set. She might not even say anything, and you're like, oh, shit, man, look who just showed up.
Yep.
Because you already know what energy she's bringing. But another question I got for you is, between movies and commercials, what are the differences you see as far as the marketing of them and the production of them? As far as marketing, of course, commercials might be corporate. You did Schlitterbahn, was it?
Or I've done Schlitterbahn. I've done. I just recently did a Aaron's Furniture commercial.
Oh, yeah, I think I see that.
That's a nationwide commercial.
With your family?
Yeah, with my fake family.
You and your family?
Yeah. I have a bunch of fake families out there. Just to let y'all know. If y'all see me on TV with a bunch of different
bunch of women.
families, yeah, that's me. Aaron's obviously the marketing is simple because they're trying to sell furniture. So you go out there and and you're their spokesman pretty much. So you're out there just trying to portray the message that they're trying to send out. They're marketing, and they cast you because they want you to be that person to be, in front of the camera for them. Yeah. So that's one thing about marketing for, commercials. And
the most you can do on your end is basically like repost it once it finally does come out.
Yeah. And
I mean, if you see it on YouTube. Or
and then you could post, like for me, I'll post the commercial. I'll post behind the scenes pics, for marketing myself. Be like, oh, wow, he is on the set right now. Yeah. I'll hang out with the other actors.
You didn't just Photoshop yourself into
the... I mean, you could do that, but
then you're fake or whatever. But if you play around with it and they know it's a joke, then it's cool. Yeah. But if you try to like really be like you're really doing it and they're like, no, you're full of crap or whatever.
Yeah, and then like as far as like movies and stuff, like I have some films right now in the film festival circuit, and that's a whole nother type of marketing. It's like because I'm a producer and a lead actor on a film called Headphones right now.
Okay.
And it's we just won Best Comedy and Best Original Screenplay at the Webisode Festival in Houston.
That's dope.
And
Congratulations.
So now thank you.
Yeah,
and so now and we also got into the Indie Shorts Fest in Los Angeles, and we got nominated for Best Art Comedy and Best First Time Director.
Yeah, and there was a Ranger. My
Ranger, which is out on. We won a ton of awards for those.
That's cool.
That's on Amazon right now. It's a feature film. But the marketing with those is, you want other people to see it. You want other film festivals to see it. So sometimes, you'll get those laurels, which are the thing that say,
what's
it's called a laurel.
Laurel.
Yeah. So what that is, like, if you ever see a movie poster, it's like. Official selection of South by Southwest. Those are like those things right there. So those are called laurels. And so you want a lot of those so that other people can be like, oh, maybe we should put them into our festival. Maybe we should do that.
I see.
And so it's a whole nother marketing just to get into festivals.
Do you think it's a pay to play also?
Of course, we have to pay to submit your films.
But what about like once you get into that inner circle of the decision makers? I mean,
I don't really know because each you
don't deal with that aspect.
Because there's judges, and so I don't know
committee or whatever.
Yeah. So like each film festival has a judge, have judges that watch your film, critique your film, and you hope that they're legit. It's like anything else, you're not trying to like pay them
payola.
Off. Yeah, payola.
Radio days.
Good old radio days. You hope they're fair, because it wouldn't be fair to the other actors or other films as well. So, but. There's a whole different way to market, your films, and that's another thing. I go to events, I go to film festivals, I go to mixers. I put myself out there physically. So like you
gotta be seen. You gotta be seen. Yeah.
And that's with any business. Go to your your mixers. If they don't have any mixers in your industry, make one.
Yeah.
Start throwing a mixer yourself. Say, hey, we're all gonna meet here for some drinks, and exchange cards. Tell me what you do. You can create other opportunities for yourself, marketing wise. And just by like I said, being around other people that are excited about the same things that you are.
Yeah. Now, is there I don't want to call it an industry standard, but is there a template? Let's say, for example, you're working on an indie film here in Austin. Let's just say you're shooting the whole month of, I don't know, June, July, and August. Y'all are actually shooting, okay? I guess there's so many variables that could cause it to not come out for 2 years or not for a month or whatever. But based on what you've seen, when does the marketing for a film actually start, or should start? Really,
it starts when you even when in the casting. Okay. People are they say they have a film, and then once someone gets cast, they start posting about it.
Okay.
So
but the studio itself, when do you think they start running trailers? Or
well, they got to shoot it first, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But is there like an industry standard where we got at least 3 months before it comes out, or at least 6 months? Or...
I don't think there's an actual like set standard, because there's so many things that could happen on the production
so many
side.
variables. Yeah,
but obviously, for the bigger studios, they want to release their film at a certain date that makes them the most money. Christmas, July 4th weekend,
November,
things like that.
Day after Thanksgiving or whatever.
All that good stuff. So that's their main thing. They want to make the most money as possible, and then so the marketing never stops with that film. Even after the film is done, right? And it's out of theaters. Then what comes next? The DVD, the Blu-ray on iTunes. So it doesn't stop. The sequel. It doesn't stop. Marketing doesn't stop unless it's a complete flop. Then but you still try to market it. Even if you don't succeed in that movie, they still try to market it afterwards. They're like, oh man, like
beat the dead horse.
They're trying to make their money back, but they're marketing it. They're still trying. And so it doesn't stop, even though let's say that movie failed. And it could have a whole other life on Netflix or on Redbox.
That's
something.
true though. Yeah,
people could still see it. And some things that are like that don't do well in the theater could do a lot better somewhere else,
Yeah.
And people watch things on their phone all the time.
And on YouTube now, you can even sell videos or like Saturday Night Live, for example. You can watch like whatever little segments that they have, but you can also pay for full episodes, I believe, right? Yeah, so it could be the same thing. Like that's another avenue. Yeah. And all you got to do is just literally run a Facebook or an Instagram ad with that URL going directly to that, and then you might be able to target people in another country even. Now let me ask you a question though. So the top 3 movies, let's just say out of Boston, okay? Dylon. No, so the top 3 movies out of Boston over the past, let's say 10, 15 years, we'll just say, what have been your personal favorites?
Oh man.
And why?
I don't know about the top 3, man. I don't even know, man.
Okay, top two.
No, I think one of the coolest things recently was Alita: Battle Angel.
Okay.
It was Robert Rodriguez's film here. It was like a $250 million film that was shot here in Austin. James Cameron produced it. And it was shot right here in Austin, Texas, and it did very well at the box office.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story about him and Robert Rodriguez here in a second.
Yeah, and so it was just cool knowing that such a big project was shot here in Austin. And Robert Rodriguez always tries to shoot in Austin, which is a really cool thing because it gives local crew members jobs, local actors jobs, and and it gets the city excited.
Oh yeah,
because if something filmed,
he's like the hometown hero.
Yeah,
basically.
Man. So that's one of the ones that sticks out for me right there. And of course, my first movie that I was ever worked on was Varsity Blues a long time ago, and that was just fun because I got to work with a lot of my friends on that set, and it just gave me the bug that really lit my fire to really try to get into these movies. Yeah. Like Paul Walker's on that. Was on that movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And John Voight was on that, and seeing all those guys, and and that movie is 20 years old now, man.
Damn.
Yeah. So
I remember Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
They shot it at Bedichek.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a summer. I think I was in 7th grade because I lived right down the road. Mm-hmm. Like, they're shooting a movie over there and this and that. But didn't John Voight? Not to get political, but I think John Voight recently came out and said Trump was like the best president since Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't he say that?
I have no idea what John Voight said, so I don't remember him saying that. But he didn't say that. Yeah, he didn't say that on set though, because I was way before that time.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember him saying that, but he might have. Who knows?
No, it was last week.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was last week. He made like a public video, and I was like,
oh gosh.
Okay, whatever. It's just whatever. But what I was getting at with James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez. So when I was at that one talk with Robert Rodriguez, he was, I think El Mariachi was the first one that he did, right?
Yes.
His first. And by the way, he edited it right where you're at.
Yeah.
He edited it in this building.
In this room.
Well, maybe not in this room, but in this building
Wow.
is where he would come at night and edit the movie, just FYI.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until like years ago that I had like researched it. Oh, this is where he edited it? So if you look, I'll show you a closet here in a bit. It said Robert Rodriguez's closet.
Wow.
I think they still have the sign on the door because it was there last week. Mm-hmm. So anyways, he was talking about, with Avatar, okay? He was talking about his movies and such. And it was really funny because he said his wife would go to work and the kids, obviously they were smaller, they would be rolling around, fighting in the living room. And he'd be there editing movies in the living room. So James Cameron, he had talked to him, because he did Avatar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He had talked to him about what his process was for editing, and James Cameron told him, wait a second, you mean you don't go to a studio? He goes, well, sometimes I go to a studio, but when I have the kids, I just basically made a studio in my home.
Right.
And he goes, hold on, so you don't have, he goes, no, why deal with traffic? Why deal with this? Why deal with that? So according to Robert Rodriguez, James Cameron tore down a wall in his house, basically moved in a studio to his house, and he would bring the editors to come and edit at his home.
Wow.
Based on what Robert Rodriguez told him was like part of his editing process.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and Avatar was the movie he did that with. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no freaking way. And someone else said, really? He goes, yeah. Now, he doesn't know if he did the whole movie like that.
Right.
But he did tear down a wall in his house and literally made it one big post-production editing bay, whatever.
I mean, it makes sense,
It's kind of cool, though. I was like, whoa.
And there is no, like,
no rules.
There's no rules. And, like, people, I do get asked a lot, like, if this, is there a certain path you should follow, right? Yeah. And everybody's path's different.
True.
There's no certain way to make it because, I haven't made it. But, and so I don't have all the answers, you just gotta, just keep trying and keep, working hard. And like I said, don't burn those bridges.
Yeah.
And, and at the end of the day, you're making movies and it's fun and you can't forget about the fun part and whatever job it is, you're doing. I mean, you got to have some fun with it. You can't hate your job.
Yeah,
you know, and if you do, then you got to find something else to do, man.
Yeah, then it ain't for you.
Yeah.
Because the reality is this. I mean, I'm sure you see this all the time. When you're sitting, let's say if you work at Target and you're behind the register for 8 hours, you get tired.
Yep.
You start hating it. And even if you're there for 12 hours getting overtime, you're still going to be pissed off. But one thing I've realized, like with me, with what I do, whether it's doing television stuff or whether it's advising clients with marketing needs or marketing issues, or maybe you as an actor, it's not real work. I mean, it's work, but you can go 16 hours before you realize, oh, damn, maybe I should go to sleep finally. But, I mean, just give me your quick opinion. Like, do you kind of deal with the same stuff where it's not it's work because you're physically somewhere, but it's not like real work, if you get what I'm saying.
Right. Like, I mean, I've been on plenty of shows or movies where you're filming,
20
15,
hours.
16 hours at night, overnight shoots. Like, I was working on a show called From Dusk Till Dawn, and it was filmed here in Austin, but it's a vampire show, so you shoot a lot at night.
Damn.
And so, you're filming from like 6 at night to 6 in the morning,
Jeez.
and sometimes it's freezing cold outside, and they try to keep you warm, with warming tents or whatever it may be, or whatever.
But butane,
but it gets cold in Texas, in the hill country,
Santa Clarita, California, in the hills. It was 30 degrees where we were shooting.
So, it's rough conditions, and but everybody's in it together.
Yeah.
And it's always it's funny because like no matter, or it could be like blazing hot too. In the Texas summers, you're out there in the middle of anywhere, getting stuck by cactus and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just 107 degrees outside. Filming out there all day.
Everyone's stuck in it though.
And but eventually you look back at it and you're like, man, as much as that sucked, it was fun, and it takes a toll on your body and everything, but you do it because you love it, and everybody else on that set, the crew members, everybody, they do it because they love it, And then you all look back at it and you go like, whenever you wrap, you go have a beer together and like, that was hard, but it was awesome, and so.
And everybody from the highest paid person on set to the lowest paid person on set, they're dealing with the same issues.
Right.
They're all going to be hot. They're all like, oh, where's the water? I need to go, whatever.
And so that's why it's another thing that, you've got to, have a positive energy. Yeah. Because when you're in those situations, you could make it worse with your attitude, right?
True, very true.
But you could change the situation. Just try to make it the best. Make a joke with somebody. Have fun. Go bring somebody a water. Go do something. Little things like that. Just to brighten the the mood up and just lift the energy. Because when people are getting tired, you got to just be there for them too. Because you're going to be tired too one day, and you're going to need somebody's help.
Very true.
But it doesn't feel like work when it is something you love. It feels like fun, even though it's 16 hours, it feels like, all right, let's do this.
You're not behind the cash register,
right?
Listening to customers bitch all day,
right.
Basically,
you're in front of a camera listening to people bitch all day, but it's still something you
love.
But
you're doing what
like, hey, I love it though.
You're doing something that you love, not something that you gotta do,
right?
And I got another show coming out, and I'll probably get you on that show because it's something where we talk about the sacrifices and the struggles of being who you are and what basically drives you, and more about the more personal side of Danny Trevino. So I really want to get you on that show. That one's going to be really dope.
Okay.
But to wrap it up now, is there something in particular or any bits of advice or just any game that you want to leave people with, or just something to pass down to somebody that's watching this?
Yeah, I just I would like to tell them that you have the power to create your own content, to create your own marketing, to to push your brand with your phone.
Realistically.
And like, I mean, if you have a phone, and if you don't, go get one. Step one, get a phone.
They're $50 a month.
Yeah, they go
T-Mobile or whatever.
Yeah, so I think you have the capability to market yourself. Your business, your brand. It's all within your hands. It's just that you've got to put in the work.
Execution is everything.
And if you don't put in the work, then the work ain't going to come back to you.
Very true.
So if you want it, you got to go get it, go create it, and go share it.
Yeah. Well, very good. You heard it here first. Locally famous and soon to be worldwide famous. I've been telling you this for years, probably. See, Danny doesn't realize that I'm super duper proud of everything he's done, and he's just so consistent. He doesn't, I mean, there might be like off days, we'll call it, or maybe like an off week. But one thing that I personally, as a super duper go-getter myself, that I personally admire of Danny is that he is a real deal go-getter, real deal hustler that's out there getting it consistently. Okay? Now, like he said, there might be times where it's slow. There might not be a gig for 30 days. There might not be something for 15 days. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But he's constantly pumping out content to let people know he's constantly working, constantly chasing after the dream, something he loves. So you heard it here first. ways you can market, brand yourself, certain strategies that you, as an actor up and coming or current, maybe even just changing your attitude is a strategy in itself. But you guys really need to pay attention and share this, by the way. Share this with somebody that needs to hear it from somebody that's really out there doing it on a consistent basis. You've been watching The Heat Tank. Hamid Yaz and Danny Trevino.
Peace.
Holla.